Vamdeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Pada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupa Sarajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnanjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vam Chakalpatarvyascha Kirpa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Vrindai Tulasi Devyai Priyayai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pradidevi Satyavatya Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Shri Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Dandavat, dear devotees that are watching us online. In this beautiful morning here in Salt Lake City, Utah, the sky is blue, there's no clouds, it's warm and it's green. It's a perfect day to engage in service. It's easier to feel joyful with this weather. And even more when you're reading Divine Guidance. By His Divine Grace, Swami Bhakti Sundar Govinda de Goswami Maharaja Ki Jai. We were reading chapter number 3. Chapter number 3, on the way to Sri Vrindavan Dham. And what was that we were reading about? Well, we were reading that Mahaprabhu will use his eternal associates as an example to show us how to practice Krishna consciousness properly. It's not about imitation, it's about following instructions. And yes, something that was really helpful to read yesterday was the instruction of Srila Guru Maharaj to his disciples about what should we think about when chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he said, don't think about anything. He said, only pray to Sri Nama. Please show me your form. And try to chant without offense. That was his instruction. So now we're going to continue where we left it yesterday. We were reading about the different stages of Krishna consciousness. And Srila Guru Maharaj was explaining this, utilizing the analogy of an energy generator. So let's try to read this and let's be attentive about this. So, Srila Guru Maharaj will reply, no, nothing, only don't think about anything while chanting the Mahamantra. You only pray to Sri Nam. Please show your form and chant without offense. When that transcendental Nama Prabhu will appear in your heart, your body will also become transcendental. Chinmaya Deha. The scriptures give us many directions about how to practice devotional life. They are sometimes like instructions from an expert who can make a particular thing. An expert in electronics can build several tape recorders or radios every day. It is very easy for him. He is qualified so he can give instructions to others about how to do it. If you do like this and this, you will also be qualified, and you will find it to be a very easy thing. The scriptures come to us in a similar way. Vyasadeva and other rishis and munis are very expert, and they express, if you try to practice in this way, it is very easy. But actually, to go to that plane is very hard. We see that there are many disturbances, many offenses, and other obstacles. When one tries to start a generator, it is first necessary to do some cranking. A lot of power is required, and it is troublesome and difficult. But once the generator is running, it can produce full power. Maybe 1,000 kilowatts or more. At first, though, when one tries by hand to start it up for generating power, it is difficult. Similarly, our present stage is hard for us, no doubt, but once we get going, it will be easier. In the practicing stage, one feels something, some happiness, cleanness, enthusiasm, and many things. The first class stage, the highest stage, is when we can firmly stay in the plane of Krishna consciousness. That is the highest stage, when we can firmly stay in the plane of Krishna consciousness. And that is the Paramahamsa stage. In many places it is recorded that everything comes from Krishna and everything belongs to Krishna. To be full in that consciousness is the Paramahamsa stage. When that consciousness will come, we shall easily harmonize with everything. In the midst of the whole environment, we shall be able to tolerate everything. All right. In the midst of the whole environment, we shall be able to tolerate everything. When Krishna established the Pandavas in their kingdom, he said to Kunti Devi, now everything is settled here. Stay here happily. I'm going to see my Dwarka, my kingdom, and see how things are going on there. Krishna was ready to leave by chariot, and while standing in front of everyone, Kunti Devi approached him and prayed. Vipadaha santutaha shashvat tatra tatra yagat guru bhavato darshanam jatsyat apunar darshanam. My dear Krishna, you are thinking we're very happy now, but actually it is not so. We're very sad because you're going back to Dwarka. I do not want this kingdom. I can leave everything if only you will stay here. But now you won't stay, so rather I am praying that those earlier days of danger will again come to us, and that these present happy days will leave. I want those dangerous times because during danger we get your presence, and with your presence comes all auspiciousness. Whoever sees your face will not take birth in this mundane world again. The main point is that at first, Srila Govinda Maharaj continues, when we start in our devotional life, some trouble must come, but once we're running, we will go very easily. We shall feel it to be a very easy thing to practice Krishna consciousness. When we're established in the faithful plane, we will have no problem. Only it is necessary to stay in the faithful plane, and then our chariot will run. However, the beginning part is difficult because our soul is covered by ahankara. Thus we cannot differentiate between the ahankara and our soul. It is therefore necessary to engage in the initial cleansing practices in order to differentiate properly. Ahankara nivirtanam keshavo nahi duragaha ahankara yutanam hi madhye parvata rashaya. The obstruction is our ego, ahankara. Ahankara means false ego, but that definition is not very accurate. As Sudarshan Prabhu always says, translation is not about translations, it's about approximation. It's about trying to surround the Sanskrit word with the purpose of approximation. Ahankara means a particular kind of world. A whole world with so many things within it. My mother, my father, my brother, my wife, my house, my garden, my everything. And I can do this, I can do that, I have done it, and before me, my father did this and that. The Ahankara world is a very big world. It is not only ego, to say only ego. It's not sufficient. But it is an expanding world. If we can detach ourselves from that egotistic world, then immediately we can establish ourselves in the faithful plane. And after that we have no problem. Therefore, I describe the Paramahamsa level as a plane from which, in our early analogy, the generator is already running. Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came into this world to teach us the practical Paramahamsa class by his conduct, guidance, and speech. Many things may be wrong according to the mundane law, but everything belongs to Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, Yasya naham kirto vavo buddhiryasya na lipyate hadvapi sa imanil lokan nahanti na nivadyate. He who is free from egotism, arising from aversion to the Absolute, and whose intelligence is not implicated in worldly activities, even if he kills every living being in the whole world, he does not kill at all, neither does he suffer a murderous consequences. Very interesting. The point Krishna is making is that no sin will touch you if you stay in that faithful plane of the transcendental world. Many symptoms come in a practitioner's life. The first symptom is enthusiasm. And by the inspiration of Srila Swami Maharaj, many newcomers were very eager in the preaching. My Guru said I must preach, and he said everything belongs to Krishna. Everything is Krishna's property, and we are the servitors of Krishna, so we must use everything. In this way, they very enthusiastically preached in the West. Within our mundane law, it is offensive to take property from a hotel, for instance, but some of them did not care for that. They thought, they are making offense because they have the mentality, it is my property, it is my hotel. But actually they are all thieves. We're not thieves. Srila Swami Maharaj, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada gave the real conception of Krishna consciousness, no doubt. And if we are 100% pure, then we shall have no problem. But if we're not 100% pure, and if there is any tendency to imitate, some problems must come. Imitation is hard to recognize. And if we cannot recognize what is imitation and what is pure, we'll be faced with problems. It is necessary to differentiate between what is imitation and what is pure. Srila Swami Maharaj spread the wave of Krishna consciousness all over the world, and now the time has come for preaching the conception of Srila Guru Maharaj. My hope is a very deep hope. I am always hoping in a very big way, and I am always surprised to see in which way Krishna consciousness is spreading all over the world. Mahaprabhu said, Prithivite achi yata nagarati grama, sarvatra pakara haivi monanam. This is a verse from the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila. My holy name will be preached in every town and village in the world. It is a miracle that it has happened in only a few years. If we think about it, we cannot believe how it is possible. Srila Swami Maharaj tried very hard for his first year in America, but he could not successfully achieve anything. For 1 year, he tried so hard to get that generator going, but when it started, then immediately the whole world lit up through Krishna consciousness. Alright, Dandavat Bhima Krishna Prabhu. I hope you're doing very good this morning. If you have any thought, any opinion on what we're reading, please share. I'll be happy to interact with you. I will be very happy to interact with you this morning, Prabhuji. So we're reading that Srila Govinda Maharaj is hoping in a very big way to preach the conception of Srila Guru Maharaj all over the world. And also Mahaprabhu said, my holy name will be preached in every town and village of the world. It is a miracle that it has happened in only a few years. If we think about it, we cannot believe how it is possible. Srila Swami Maharaj tried very hard for his first year in America, but he could not successfully achieve anything. For 1 year, he tried so hard to get a generator going, but when it started, then immediately the whole world lit up through Krishna consciousness. Maybe sometimes we make offenses, perhaps even 40% of the time we're making offenses. It is our birthright. Because we have taken birth in this mundane world, we can't help but to do some imperfect work. But with so much offense in the world, we're astonished and cannot guess in which way Krishna consciousness has spread all over the world. Seeing the result of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Swami Maharaj preaching, we're very much enlightened. Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also tried very hard to spread Krishna consciousness. When the Gaudiya Math first started, all the imitation sampradayas became very fearful and they wanted to kill Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mission and wanted to kill him also. But they were not successful. He tried very hard and established 64 centers in India and also sent his devotees outside India to Germany, England, and America. He tried in that way, but he was not so successful with the overseas preaching. After his disappearance, some disturbance came to his mission, but still some of his disciples, like Sripad Van Maharaj and Sripad Goswami Maharaj, tried very hard to preach. Sripad Goswami Maharaj was sent by Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur to London. At one stage, he had no money at all, not a farthing. He had a stove in which it was necessary to put 4 pennies in order to cook. But even that money he didn't have. He thought, what shall I do now? Soon afterwards, the cleaner gave him an envelope and explained he had found it under the table, or perhaps in the door. Please, see what it is. Sripad Goswami Maharaj opened it and saw a check for 1,300 pounds. He was surprised. Previously, he had written to the Maharaja of Baroda, I am in much trouble for lack of money. Please send me something as a donation. And now that money had come, his immediate concern was for some breakfast. Otherwise, with no food, he would get sick. But how to realize the money? That morning, as soon as the bank opened, he went to cash the check. But as he had no account, the bank clerk asked him for some identification. You are Mr. Goswami? Can you show that? He had no proof of identity, and also being Indian, he was perhaps not very conscious about that. However, the previous day he had attended a meeting and his photo was published in that day newspaper. Suddenly he saw the newspaper lying on the counter, and he pointed it out to a bank official. I attended that meeting. Look, there's my photo. Then that man immediately gave him the money. Anyhow, Srila Goswami Maharaj tried very hard in London but was not so successful. Maybe he planted some seeds in the soil of England, but it is very true that he was not successful in achieving anything substantial. Also, Srila Maharaj tried in Germany, France, and America, but he also wasn't so successful. Many years later, Srila Swami Maharaj tried and he was successful. But he had also tried to preach in India, but without much success. But his intention had always been to go to the West to preach, and he eventually did so. That history you know. For 1 year he tried to generate something there. Then it took off by the mercy of Krishna and Nityananda Prabhu, and its light spread all over the world in such a short time. I am very surprised and also full of joy in my heart. I am thinking, how is it possible? When Buddhism, Sankarism, or whatever other ism appeared, it took such a long time before they were accepted by the people. Or it will sometimes take the influence of a king or some special event to help a particular conception to spread and be preached widely. In whatever way, it generally took a very long time, but within 5 to 10 years, Srila Swami Maharaj was able to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And Mahaprabhu foretold it. Prithivite achiyata nagaradi grama sarvat prachara haive moranama. When we see this, we feel very happy in our heart and think, here a transcendental thing must be present. We may be able to see or not to see. That is another thing. But we can feel it is present there. So I am not immediately looking at any fault of the devotees. What the devotees either in the West or East are doing, I am thinking they are doing very nicely. I immediately remember Srila Swami Maharaj and Srila Guru Maharaj and feel, maybe they're doing a little wrong, but that is no problem. I do not know what is the will of Krishna and Mahaprabhu now, but real Krishna consciousness has spread, no doubt. So there is a substantial serving chance for the conditioned souls. And I think that in some way or other, it must spread more, and everyone will be benefited in that way. We see many acharyas in this world. Perhaps they are not at all perfect, but somehow they're trying, and at least they are doing some raw, first cultivation. When cultivating crops, there must first be plowing, then planting the seed, then watering, etc. In that way, we can work is going on very nicely. We can say the work is going very nicely. When there is a war, many soldiers die. Also many women, children, property and other things are lost. In a war, it is inevitable. It must be so. So this is also one kind of war with Maya, Durga. It is a revolt. Some revolutionary environment has been created by Srila Swami Maharaj, Srila Guru Maharaj and others. So some will die or be injured by this, but the gates of Durga's prison house have been broken. Otherwise, how is it that people all over the world are chanting Hare Krishna? The revolution has already erupted, and in the fighting some may be injured and some may die, but the gate has been broken and the prisoners are running to Vaikuntha. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur described the pastimes of Krishna and Radharani in a very respectful way. From his writings we can understand what is our highest destination, and the present time there may be some difficulty in different ways for many people. But this special type of knowledge this Krishna consciousness will come to the prisoners sleeping under Maya. The prisoners were sleeping, but now this consciousness they have woken up. A revolt has broken out in the prison and they are escaping. We are so fortunate that in our time it has happened and we're seeing it. It could have come in the past or it could have come in the future. But we are so fortunate to see the revolution happening now. We have seen many things and we have had the association of the generals and soldiers. That is also our fortune. Now if we can proceed to our destination in a harmonized way, that will be ultimately fruitful for us all. Hare Krishna. These are the words of Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. And thus the end of the chapter 3 on the way to Sri Vrindavan Dham. And I think this was the best way that Srila Gurudev could have finished a chapter, remembering us that in a war many soldiers die, even generals, even children, women, old people, properties, they are lost. And now we're fighting the most important war ever, and that is our war against misconception. That is our war against Maya, illusion. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that the meaning of Kirtan is war against misconception. So now we're fighting, all of us. We're trying at least. Since Srila Swami Maharaj, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, they have established many centers, many temples all over the world. Even though we may be doing some offenses, 30%, 40%, 50%, 60% offenses, at least we have some good chance to do service just because of them. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, we have the chance to do some service and to fight the war under their directions. So some of us, we may die. We may be really seriously injured. We may lose a lot of things. But as I like the way Srila Govinda Maharaj expresses it, the doors of Maya, of Durga, have already been broken, and the prisoners are escaping on their way to Vaikuntha. So we must stand firmly and try to practice all together. Jai Shri Shri Gaura Gaura Chandra Ju Ki Jai, Jai Mahaprabhu. And we're under the guidance of Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. Sorry, I forgot. Divine guidance by His Divine Grace Swami Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Hare Hare Nama Krishna Yaravaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Shimadusudana Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mokhana Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Radhara Sivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Rupa Sanata Bhata Raghunatha Sri Jiva Gopala Bhata Dasa Raghunatha Echai Gosai Kori Sharana Bandana Sahote Vignana Savishta Purana Echai Gosai Jaya Muitara Dasha Kasavara Padarinu Mora Panchalasa Sadhira Charana Sevi Vasa Sane Vasa Janame Janame Mora Avilasa Echai Gosai Jabe Vrajakula Vasa Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Surila Prakasha Anande Bolo Hari Vajavindavana Anande Bolo Hari Vajavindavana Shiguru Vaishnava Pare Mazai Zamana Shiguru Vaishnava Para Mazai Zamana Shiguru Vaishnava Para Parmatoriyasa Hari Nam Sankirtana Kote Narottama Dasa Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Gaur Jai Srila Bhakti Jai Om Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Rakta Shira Dev Goswami Maharaj. Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Sar Goswami Ki Jai. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sarasi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Radha Krishna Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Kolan Kartels Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Ranjan Mahasura Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Guru Gaurachandra Yu Ki Jai. Giraju Ki Jai. All the assembly devotees Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari. Now let's take a look of who's with us this morning. Shri Gurudev Ki Jai. Jai. Jai Gurudev. Alright. How are you doing today, Vimal Krishna Prabhu? Oh, it seems like he's not here. Well, Dandavat pranams, dear devotees. After a glorious day, trying to remember the words of Srila Gurudev, very powerful words. They just give a lot of hope. We're in a war against misconception, and we may die. It's going to be so difficult. But that's okay. We're trying our best. We're going to still make offenses. The good thing is that thanks to the mercy of our gurus, we can become aware of that and do the necessary atonement. That being said, have a blessed day, chant Hare Krishna, and see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Dandavat pranams.